Well, okay, that's great. So I tell you what, we're going to keep this conversation now in this the next 15 minutes or so. It's going to be all about you. What we're talking about now is sort of what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be about you. It's about being the books. It's about your past, who your teachers are, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. We're kicking off the year, being motivated, but being truthful about where we've been, what we've been doing, and where you want to go. So the show is really about you, your past being featured in the book. So if anything you want to talk about it. We're pre-recording this, so if we make a mistake or whatever, you don't really have to worry about it.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's see when I get back to my show notes here. And is the last name, is it pronounced Costabile?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen, and welcome to another Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to be interviewing our AMAA 2017 alumni. We have with us Kierston Costabile, and she's going to be on our program. Outstanding martial artist, a champion, and we're going to be talking with her because what we really want to know from our alumni, this is where our information is about our past, people that were very successful in the martial arts, people that are now continuing to grow their success in the martial arts. And this is great information because with this information, we're using it to guide our future about our legends in the martial arts and to motivate other people to want to become martial artists. I've been training for the martial arts for over 40 years. I am so grateful that, I had the encouragement to pick up the telephone one day and call a martial arts school, enroll in that school, and in fact, that school was Karate International of Raleigh. I found an amazing man who became my teacher, became my mentor. He became my father. He really changed my life. I have no idea where I would be in the world today if it had not been for my teacher, Sensei Jan Wellendorf, who changed my life. And this is the way that I feel about the martial arts. As martial artists, we are empowered with a special gift through our training to impact those other people, especially kids, to make empowerment changes in their life. If we don't, then who knows where they'll be. But we really do feel if we are really great martial artists and we've done all the things that we should have done and we have reached a level of success, then we have something to offer someone else. So this is what our program is about. And I'm always asked, how do you get into the Who's Who book? It's really simple. You got to have a story. If you have no story, then, there's nothing to write about. And the good part, even when people begin to write their story, they look and say, well, I'm holding this particular rank, but I really haven't done anything. I'm 7th, 8th, 9th degree black belt, but I have no lineage. I have no black belts. The question is, how did I get here? And that's what you really want to do, because at the end of the road, you really want to have something in your bucket you can rattle. So, hello, ma'am, and how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
Really do thank you for, being on our call today. I had a chance to, meet you for the first time. I'd heard about you over the years, and, generally my base has been in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Atlanta area. But, getting the opportunity to meet you and have you in our book to be able to share your story is a really great honor.
Well, I appreciate everything that you have done for me. It was an honor meeting you and being nominated into the Who's Who in the Martial Arts book. And I'm very happy to do this interview with you.
So let's start from the book itself. You and I, we've chatted a little bit, before we got on the call. And I think it's really important, I know we were talking about you've been out of the martial arts for a while. So Do you think the book has restored a new energy in you?
Absolutely. Just being around all of the martial artists and the living legends that I met, like June Rhee at the Who's Who event, was just a big wake-up call for me of how much I missed being around my brothers and sisters in the martial arts. Absolutely. Motivated me so much so now.
So where are you located?
I'm here in Upton, Massachusetts, about 25 minutes away from Boston, Massachusetts.
And as I look through here in your bio, you trained with one of the legends in the martial arts, Billy Blanks. And let's tell us a little about that. How long? Give us your martial arts background. Let's talk about you. Of what motivated you to get involved in the martial arts?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Well, one day I was just sitting at home watching television, and I happened to get a Boston Herald newspaper. I opened up the newspaper, and there was Master Billy Blanks giving a grand opening of his school in Quincy, Massachusetts. So I was so excited. I've always wanted to get into the martial arts, but I didn't know how to get started in that field. So I called my sister up. It was one of the biggest storms we've ever had, snowstorm, and I called my sister up and told her that I was interested in going to the grand opening in Quincy, Massachusetts. So she came, picked me up. We drove to the school, and lo and behold, there was Master Billy Blanks, and he had a couple other students, black belts there. And it was so intimidating. I couldn't even speak, but I was excited to be there. I just kind of felt once I got into the school, I belonged. It was just something that I felt right then and there when I got into the school. I felt like this was the place that I wanted to be. Once I got into the school, showed me the seminar, and they were breaking bricks and boards and doing what I didn't understand what it was at the time, katas. Open hand forms. They started doing weapons and then started doing self-defense. And then Master Billy Blanks came over and asked me if I wanted to do a couple of kicks and techniques, punching techniques. And I said, sure. So once I started doing the techniques, he had asked me, was I interested in joining the school? And I said, absolutely. And from that day on, I have been involved in the martial arts ever since. So without Master Blanks accepting me into the school, I don't know if I would have been in the right path. I mean, I was, raised in a very rough neighborhood, Dorchester, Massachusetts. Every day there was someone getting shot or something like that. We're arrested or it was just a very, very rough neighborhood, and it was just such an honor and a great opportunity to get me off the streets. So I have to give thanks to Master Billy Blanks for just believing in me and understanding who I could be and who I am today.
Well, that's the important part of being a martial artist that we're really trying to emphasize, with martial artists is that we have this unique power to be able to help people because we all have an experience. We weren't all successful. We weren't all at the top of our game. We were not recognized. We were not noted. We all had some little thing that we had to actually, deal with, that martial arts was there to help us to be able to move to that next level. And this is the reason why it's important that we share our knowledge and where we share our experience. So no matter where a person is in life, martial arts is a very powerful tool to help you to be able to move that next level. Now, like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to be a tournament champion, because when you're training your mind and you're training your body, you're developing a very focused. We talk about the inner wisdom, from our higher power, God, to direct us in what we need to do. So the more that we now practice and we learn to motivate and being able to focus our mind and body, when we, even in a self-defense situation, there's that sixth sense that tells us exactly what we need to do, because we've trained our mind, we've trained our body, and our inner conscious is what really begins to guide us in what we're actually doing. Now, I know that you did a lot of tournament play, and before I leave that, I imagine it was a great honor, because Grandmaster Blacks, he changed the martial arts through his Taibo. He changed the world, and he created, the fitness kickboxing industry that I've been. In fact, I just retired from Duke University, where I taught fitness kickboxing, for over 27 years. But if it had not been for him to inspire that and create a movement of that, then I wouldn't have had that course. So everyone that we meet, they really have that power to influence what we do in the martial arts, because he went on a quest and became nationally known, and through his Taibo training, every martial arts school in the country wanted to do Taibo in that. So, he's a real big influence in the martial arts, and really, really noted for his tournament play, but he's really noted for his ability through his Taibo and some of the movies that he's actually done. But Taibo is where, when you say Taibo, you know exactly who Billy is.
Absolutely. I can tell you a little story about that, how it was started. We one day after class, he had there was a beauty salon downstairs from the karate school called Hair Place One, and it was about maybe 7 o'clock in the evening, and he brought up some of the beauticians to come upstairs and try it out one day. And we all joined. I said, okay. He asked me if I wanted to stay after class and try this experiment out. So we were all in class, and he turned on some music, and we started doing some punches and kicks to the music, doing some floor work, little kicks on the ground and things like that. And I said, oh my goodness, I am so sore. What the heck is this? And after that class, it just was a brainstorm. He put it all together. He ended up getting a promoter, going to California, and opened up a school in California. He closed the school in Quincy, Massachusetts. I was training with John Payton, world champion, also Christopher Rappold, Saroj Benjamin, Sean Graham, and Todd Mundy. I was the only female left out of the school, and he closed the school down, promoted me to first-degree black belt, and the others second degree, and so on. And he closed the school that day, flew back to California that night, and opened up his karate school, his Taibo school, It was a karate school part-time, but more or less the Taibo took over. I flew out there about a year later, and when I got out there, I wanted to do a martial arts class. There was only 2 people, myself and another student who was a green belt that trained with Steven Seagal. And we were doing self-defense and things like that, so our class was almost over. I looked outside, and I mean literally there was a line all the way around the block, people waiting to come in to do the Taibo class. And that's when I knew Master Billy Blanks was going to definitely put his name on the map. And he did.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's a positive story. Just an idea, a concept. You change the world with ideas and concepts. Just one idea that you can think of that you're doing right now, in your martial arts. How can you impact? How can you impact the world and make a major difference, in the world by what you're doing? And this is what we're really hoping that our Who's Who books and our Legends books, it's really not just about talking about the person. It's really about helping that martial artists grow to the next level through their stories of their sharing, and how to be able to really get the word out there that, hey, I had ADHD, and martial arts helped me to regain my focus and to move beyond that. I wasn't doing good in sports. My martial arts helped me improve. So there's so many things that people are going through that martial arts can actually help them to be able to do. And all it takes is just one idea, one conscious idea, plus a desire to improve and to do better. And, that's really, I never heard that story before, but, you're one of his students. You were right there. You experienced it. So that is a phenomenal positive story there.
Yes.
So let's talk about, about your tournament play. Did you enjoy tournaments? What did you get out of that?
I enjoyed the tournaments. My whole dream when I started the martial arts, I wanted to become a chef, and I had gained a lot of weight. So when I saw the Boston Herald, when Mr. Master Blanks was doing the grand opening, I had a voice was in my head saying, this is not the time to join and become a chef. This is the time to go out into Quincy, Massachusetts. It was like the biggest blizzard we've ever had. And that inner voice was telling me to go out there and join this school so that I can lose weight and learn something that I really wanted to do since I was maybe about 4 years old. When I did that and I joined the school, when I became a yellow belt, I said to myself, well, I would like to compete in some tournaments. And I asked Master Blanks for permission if I could compete in a tournament here in New England. And he said, sure. So he trained me, and we ended up going to the tournament. I lost the first fight, and that is when the light bulb came on. And I said, I really, really love this sport. This is something that I know I can be good at. It took me some time to learn the techniques, the point fighting, the judging, and things like that. And after a while, I became one of the top-ranked black belts in the martial arts. But it was a battle getting to that point. Master Blanks had top students that were awesome in the school. And eventually, once I started getting good as a green belt, he would call up all the black belts in one ring and all the underbelts in the other ring, and he would mention my name. He would say, my nickname is Peaches, and he would say, Peaches, you're coming up here with the black belt. And it was just such a great honor to do that and be accepted. And that's when I knew that I would definitely be good at it, but I didn't realize how gifted I was in the martial arts as far as point fighting. Once I became really good fighting, I became a blue belt. And Master Blanks had told me that he wanted to put me into the black belt division. And I was very discouraged by that because I knew it would cause a lot of controversy because he wanted me to keep the blue belt on. So when I would compete as a blue belt in a black belt division, it would set a big fire. So I would have to put in a lot more techniques, a lot more time, and a lot more energy, and I would really have to fight my heart out because the black belts didn't feel that I belonged in the ring with them. So eventually I started learning from them and getting better. At one point they had a tournament called the Atlantic team, Nasty Anderson, Terry Kramer, Mr. Blank, Shavella Aaron, Linda Dunley, all of these world champions were on this team, and they were traveling all over the world. And I competed at this one tournament in New Jersey, the Atlantic tournament. And if you would win third place, which I did, I took third place, you would get a chance to go to the World Championship in Bermuda. Well, someone complained about me being a blue belt in the black belt division, which was true. So they took away my prize money, and I was not able to go to Bermuda for the title, to try to win for a world title. And that's when it all began, as far as me really getting better and better and better and going and striving, for the world title in Italy, London, and Canada. So it was a tough battle, but it really, really motivated me to be the champion that I am today.
Well, I'm just looking at, all the championships you won. You sparked a couple of names in there, and one of them is, my friend, my sister, one of the greatest female fighters of all times, and which is Linda Denley. And so, so let's talk about women in the martial arts. Who are some of the ladies that have inspired you as a martial artist?
Well, absolutely, Linda Dunley. I would have to compete with Linda Dunley almost every national tournament once I became a official black belt. And Linda Dunley taught me a lot about point fighting and the determination and the training that she would put in. When I would compete against her, believe you me, it was with full force. I lost a lot of competitions with Linda Dunley, and she's an inspiration to me. I tell you, I wouldn't have really become as good as I am today without her skills and knowledge and the competitiveness that she had to win and be a champion as long as she has. I tell you, I would always look up to her. But when we competed, I tried to be on the same level, but it took a lot of time and a lot of hard work to even get close to where she was. And I have to give praise and respect her honorably so, is how much she put in her time into the martial arts. So, yes, I really do admire her and respect her so much.
Well, there's, you got, Helen Chung, all those ladies, your guys were coming up at that period of time. And this is the reason why, that continued value of the martial arts is to, that's what we have to continue actually doing. We have to keep the ladies out there. We have and remember, if we don't have someone to mentor in the sport karate, then it's going to be, people will find their own way. And that's sort of what happens, that we lose the great mentors that we had in the past that started because that we had a focus, we had a principle that we were doing in the martial arts, and then, as people matured out of the martial arts and they did different things, we sort of lost that. And that's the reason why I think it's important that, through the writing of telling the stories of, who's who in the martial arts or who was who in the martial arts, is that place that people can go back and say, well, this competitor, this is the thing I liked about this competitor. And they can take things from you, from Linda, from Helen, from, Mikey. They can take information from you ladies and now formulate who they are today. There's never any really new information. It's just different ways that it's actually done.
Absolutely. I feel that there's a little story I'd like to tell you about Linda Dunley and Shavella Aaron. It was almost like they passed the torch over to me at one point in my life where we were competing, all three of us, in the same division. I was in middleweight at one point, and then I moved up to heavyweight. And we were at Capitol Classics, actually, Master Brown's tournament. And we were in the same division, and there was one young lady called Angela Webb. She was Daryl Dawson's student at the time. And Linda had to compete against her first, and she beat Linda. Then Shavella Aaron had to compete against Angela, and Angela beat Shavella. So they both came over and said to me, Kierston, Peaches, they called me, they said, you better not let her beat you. And I said, okay, I'm going to do my best. So I got in the ring, and I beat Angela Webb. And right then and there, I knew that I finally got the respect from Linda and Shavella Aaron, because they were the girls to beat. And it was just such a great feeling to have them come over to me as many as times if I've come over to them and asked them about information on techniques and things like that, that they came over and showed me that respect, and it just made me feel like I'm in the group now. I'm accepted finally after all those years. It was just a great honor just to learn from them and finally be respected by them after that day. It was just an awakening for me. So, yeah, these women, Shavella Aaron, Christine Bannon, Nikki Carlson, Nicole Quest, Linda Dunley, I can go on, Veronica, Angela Webb. They were just my mentors, and I really appreciate them teaching me and making me a champion that I feel like I am today.
Well, that's great. This has been a great interview. Everyone, this is what the American Martial Arts Alliance, the Who's Who, is really about, is really reaching out to people that have been out there doing the martial arts, discovering where they are now, helping them to embrace new changes in life. Our next event is going to be coming up in D.C. On August the 3rd at Grandmaster Brown's event. You can go to our website, which is who'swhointhemartialarts.com, learn more. Our goal this year is not only produce the Who's Who in the Martial Arts book again this year. Well, again, it may be under a different name. We have created 3 Who's Who in the Martial Arts. So, one of our thoughts is that we're going to, create another series which does the same exact thing as the Who's Who book, but to, hold that series with that 3 books. So we'll let you guys know what we're going to do with that. But the event is going to be coming up, and we're going to, we have coaching classes. We're looking at certifying people for motivational coaches, for life coach. So we have a whole lot of things that we're bringing not only to the martial arts community, but also to the world that people can utilize to grow from. Ma'am, it's been very, very, very exciting having you on the call. I look forward to some future relationships of different things that we're doing. I call it the law of attraction, where we all meet for a purpose. There's some, special thing that we actually have, and, God has that way for people to cross paths, and when they cross paths, they can decide on what the message is that they have or what they should be, doing together with that. But, much success to you and all the adventures that you're planning on into the future. And again, you're one of our alumni now, so we hope to see you back in D.C. Tell all your friends about who we are. Some of those names that you called out that we may not have in the book, then please make sure you reach out and nominate those folks. And because we are right now actively, pursuing, to discover these other people that we have not discovered and haven't placed them in, been a part of sharing their story.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor, and I really appreciate everything. And it was great meeting you, Master Bowen. And I always say your body is your temple, and when you set those goals for yourself, you shoot for the stars. That's what I believe. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, ma'am. And everyone, have a blessed day. This is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen with the AMAA Masters, Martial Arts Masters Radio Network. Check us out. Okay, great job, ma'am. That was good.
Thank you so much.
Feel like we've been on. I'm going, man, how long? That was good. I guess we did about 30 minutes of that of that show. So we got a 30-minute show. I'll let you know exactly when it's going to come out, and in that way you can have let people